vui nào.
Under investigation for abducting and trafficking babies born in violation of China's one-child policy, state media reported. This week, the Caixin magazine reported that at least 15 babies were forcefully taken away from families in Hunan province. Birth control officials sell the babies to welfare agencies. They've then been put up for adoption overseas. Caixin says this has been happening for 10 years. Officials reportedly receive 1,000 yuan, or about $155 for each child they sell. Welfare agencies can then receive up to $3,000 for each adopted child. The magazine reports babies have been sold into adoption to people from the United States, the Netherlands, and Poland. In the move to reduce population growth, the Chinese regime allows most families to only have one child. The policy has long been criticized because family planning officials often abuse enforcement laws to make a profit. With toxic additives found in food like pork and buns, many Chinese consumers are having a tough time finding food that's safe to eat. But according to a report last week, China's communist officials may not have these problems. Now, that's because some are getting their food from special suppliers who have to meet strict safety standards. Here's more.
As food safety scandals continue to emerge in China, local media revealed that some communist officials are supplied with clean, safe products, especially grown for them. In an article that was taken offline, the Southern Weekend reported last week on a special greenhouse in Beijing. It's protected by a 6-feet-high iron fence, and its organic produce goes to Beijing's customs officials. These special food suppliers are not limited to Beijing. Their products range from fruits and vegetables to pork and poultry. These suppliers have to comply with strict safety standards before their products can reach the mouths of communist officials. For most ordinary Chinese, this is a far cry from how their food is managed. Beijing's education department has a block of land near Hebei. They have everything there, fish, vegetables, all taken care of by their own people. The department's officials share the produce, and that's what they eat. Only ordinary citizens have no one looking out for them. The officials live happily, and the people eat what they can and await death. Whether it's beans, rice, buns, or pork, Chinese consumers have been hit with a string of toxic or dangerous foods. Even so, the Chinese regime's head of food safety, Zhang Yong, claimed last Friday that the overall situation of food safety was good. He blamed the media for over-exaggerating, saying the problems only affect a small part of the public. His comments have since come under attack by netizens, who want authorities to do more to ensure the safety of their food.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, May 11th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part 2 of this news bulletin, everyone. I'm going to finish up with the economic news that I had. and then I'll go into eugenics. That's why you saw some of the eugenics videos. Kind of change it up, my structure here. My website is www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Okay, we have Greece launches massive fire sale to service growing debt as riot police clash with violent protesters. And then the Eurozone, Greeks ring alarm bells just a year after bailout. The Eurozone's first bailout of a debt-laden member country is failing, and it needs to be renegotiated just a year after the 110 billion, I guess, euros rescue package was agreed for Greece. And then we have Irish bombshell, government raids private pensions to pay for spending. So it says here the Irish government plans to institute a tax on private pensions to drive jobs growth, according to its jobs program strategy delivered today. So you can check that out. Most of the links, if not all, will be posted. U.S. debt rating downgraded to C status by Weiss Ratings. Then PIMCO raises bet against U.S. government debt. And it goes down here. It says PIMCO's Bill Gross, the manager of the world's largest bond fund, raised his bet against the U.S. government-related debt in April to 4% from 3%, according to the company's website on Monday. Then Bank of America. And we have Bank of America working through mortgage problems. I've reported on this before, talking about how Bank of America was just sitting on a bunch of mortgages, basically, that were going to foreclose, and that if they did allow them to do that, basically their books would show them as being insolvent. And so this is what they're going to do, right? And then look at this. Bank of America to start charging 30% on credit cards. Well, let's look at the lame-ass excuse. Starting June 25th of this year, Bank of America will start charging more and more of their credit card customers an APR of, well, just almost 30%. According to a letter that came in the mail today, the new rate would apply indefinitely. So, and that's basically how they're going to work through their mortgage problems. Again, just pass off all the costs, all the losses onto the consumer or the citizens, right? And then privatize all those profits. That's the way the system works. We have lawmakers seek info on risk of China holding U.S. debt. Annual U.S. military spending legislation unveiled Monday calls for the Pentagon and the U.S. spy chief to determine whether China's vast holdings of U.S. debt pose a national security risk. So go in there and check that out. And then we have 24 signs of an economic decline in America. I don't have time to go through those, but I just wanted to put this up there because the Economic Collapse blog puts up some pretty good articles, very informative, but a lot of times I don't have time to go through them all, but I recommend checking that out. Fund Titan found guilty. So, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this individual's name, but I believe he's Indian, and it says Rajarantam, whatever. He's always in the news. I'm sure you know who he is. Billionaire hedge fund who built his fortune on the relentless cultivation of corporate contacts was convicted Wednesday on all 14 counts, right? And so this guy's going to be the kingpin. It's all going to be him, and when he goes away, corporate fraud will be gone, and justice served, right? Bernanke says big banks need tighter rules. So after the bank stole trillions of dollars, pretty much at the threat of the economy getting imploded and Congress being in martial law, the Federal Reserve, along with the FDIC, got just basically a crap load of powers, and they're just shutting down banks at will. And of course, these these tighter rules are going to be what? They're going to be used, if they are for bigger banks, they're going to be used to kill those bigger banks that are not tied to the to the banking complex. All the complexes, right? They all go together into the military-industrial complex. Well, this is just one facet, the banking complex. And so the big banks, they don't like smaller banks getting bigger and becoming successful, right? The right way, the ethical way. So they have to come up with, quote, regulations in order to get rid of those nasty competition, like Rockefeller says, right? Which is a sin. So that's how they do it. But no, they're going to be used just like the FDIC shutting down. We're not really shutting down. They're just taking them over and keeping the same name. All these smaller banks, local banks that you may know. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Consolidation of power. Consolidation of wealth. It says here, unemployed at 25% in South Africa as BMWs drive too few jobs. So talking about basically these machines, computerized machines, building all the cars with minimal human supervision. So check that out. It's kind of interesting, and that's not going to change. That's the future. The future in this, quote, brave new world or Orwellian world is what? it's less humans, and you just saw that in those videos with China and that. I mean, that is the future, and I mean, it's not even the future, it's here, it's now, and it kind of gets old saying that it's coming because we're already living in it, and yet there's so many people that don't realize it. I mean, you have babies getting shipped off to other countries, to you know, Netherlands and Poland, to rich families, whatever, and the whole overpopulation thing is a myth, right? I just covered an article where half the population of China is in the cities, and they're forcing them to move out of the rural areas. So it is really a myth, and but it doesn't really matter. Just as the Communist Party members eat organic food, right? All right, we have broader picture shows jobless up and economy down. Says Rubini, U.S. faces another year of rising unemployment and subpar growth as hopes for recovery give way to a global shakedown. Sorry, slowdown. That's pretty much what it is, though, right? According to economist Nouriel Roubini. And then we move on here. Microsoft to acquire Skype for $8.5 billion. Like I said, consolidation, right? And we have AT&T and T-Mobile CEOs defend mobile mega merger. So they say that it would not stifle innovation. Well, it just means that your prices aren't going to go down. I mean, that's what it is. More competition usually implies lower prices, right? Because of competition. I mean, you can't just, but if you have a monopoly or a duopoly, which we usually have here in our economic system, duopolies, it gives you the illusion that you have choices, but you really don't. You're kind of just, you get whatever you get shoved down your throat, and you just deal with it. Sears may move headquarters when incentives expire. So there you go. They're going to move its corporate headquarters after the state and local incentives that brought into Hoffman Estates, Illinois, northwest Chicago suburbs expire in 2012. So the communist state of Illinois, with their super high gas prices right now, are just killing all companies and all commerce. I mean, it's just despicable what they're doing right now. Amazon could cut ties in more states over tax dispute. Why? Because they're going to start taxing online transactions. AIG Treasury to sell $9 billion in stock. So, like I said, privatizing the profits and basically socializing the losses. So just another example of that right there. And then we have Red Rooster boss wins compensation after punching customer. So manager who hit customer gets workers' compensation. Judge finds customer was verbally and physically abusive and an aggressor, and he found injuries arose in the course of employment. So then we have Postal Service reports billions in losses. And why? Well, because first it was part of the government, and actually it may have been private, and then it was government, and then came back to a quasi-public-private institution or organization that's just it's a dead duck in the water, just like Bank of America and them. But what? Just keep stealing and stealing money from American people or just taxpayers, right? And just keep pumping it into this beast that has no competition. So that just seems like a very smart, intelligent, and logical financial decision, right? Just keep it going. It says here 85% of recent college grads will end up... Oh, and I just want to put this here because my friend would appreciate me including this, that I believe, and he believes, that the Postal Service, we think that it's a very good possibility that the whole Postal Service is only in still alive is because it's all just basically a mind control experiment. It's a behavior modification experiment. They're experimenting on these poor people, and then they say what? They go postal. I mean, because just the way it works and the way they function is so inefficient, it is just ungodly. Okay, 85% of recent college grads will end up living with mom and dad, so that's why I said all these people, these little trolls that go around saying, you need to get out of your mom and dad's basement, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, actually, that's not really cool to say anymore because there are a lot of people that are intelligent and have degrees and that, and you know, it's freaking hard to make it right now as inflation keeps kicking in and prices rising and that. So I mean, you know, I wouldn't feel bad if you had to do this, even if it's a, you know, if it's not a just a transition and it's a semi what do you call it, like maybe a year or two, you know. So you have here dog bite claim costs rise most since 2007. So U.S. home insurance paid 5.3% more for the average dog bite claim, the biggest since 2007. What is my theory? Well, I think it could be related to the ELFs. You see people running around, barking at each other literally, and trying to bite each other's heads off. Well, I just think it's the ELFs. That's what I think it is. It's affecting their behavior and making them either more aggressive, more docile. So, okay, so you can join me in part 3 as we continue here. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.